Hello, my name is Martin. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Arkyn, and today I'm going to show you a bit about how our application FastWork is. It's our mobile work order execution app, and it's being used by customers all over the world to maintain heavy assets either in the plant or at the field. This is the home screen and the first screen you see as a technician when you open the app. In general, we have a lot of different ways to configure what you see and what you need to see, but right now I have everything on display, so I'll just quickly walk you through it. The main part of the app is the introduction on the My Work. It contains notification, orders, operations, and rounds that is assigned directly to you as a technician. The My Selections part is everything else that might be of your interest, but not assigned directly to you. So if we just take a quick look at orders, when I tap that, I'll get a list of the orders assigned to me as a technician. Again, we can set these screen ups very specifically to the processes and need of your technicians. Right now, it's very simple, sorted by start date, grouped by priority, and showing the short text as the main information on the screen. And then you can scroll through your different orders and access each of them here. If you want, you can apply a lot of settings and filters to make sure you focus on the right things. But let me just go ahead and click on one of the orders here, FastWork. And this is a very high maintenance order. You'll again see all the backend information from SAP, like the short text, the start and end date, linked notification, so you can see kind of the underlying notification from this one, and you can see status and priority. Again, also assignment criteria. If you do not need to see that, we can just filter that away. Then you as a technician can have a look at what am I going to maintain or service. In this case, it's a cooling water circulation pump as the technical object. And if you need more information on the specific technical object, you just tap that and you will get everything from the backend information of that specific one. Where does it reside in the technical structure? There could be images, other data from the SAP system, in this case the object type and planner group. It could also be validity or serial number or other information that is needed. You can see classifications. If you maintain GPS positions, you can also see the location and see that on the map. And then you can see the different measurement points and bill of material. If we just tap on measurement points, you as a technician will be able to see the historic readings in a graphical way over whatever period of time you want to look at in order to see what or how this equipment is performing. And of course, you can do new readings and add measurement point readings from here. We could also look at the bill of material. So if the pump here is like the cake, this is the ingredients of the recipes that is needed. And by tapping those, you can look into the warehouse and see the stock availability for the different warehouse locations that's relevant for you. So if you need to go and pick out something, you have it. You can see if it's available for you. And then you can see everything else, kind of like the history of this specific technical equipment. And we've put it into a timeline where we will show everything that's been done from an SAP perspective on this specific equipment. So past notifications, past images, orders, whatever that's been going on, you can see that and read into the maintenance history. Another part of our apps is that you can actually create and view 3D models of the different equipments. So any technician with a phone can create a 3D model like this one. So now I'll just go and have a look of the object, and you can then see that we have a fairly adequate and precise 3D model. Maybe let me do a bit of zooming here, so just easier to see. So you can see it's not like a perfect model. There's a bit wobbly here and there, but it is in actual high quality, so you can read off labels, markings, serial numbers. Also actually check out the condition of that one. So any technicians can make these, and anybody who's looking at the equipment can see that model for reference, either to compare deterioration over time or actually have a look on what is real life looking at like right now. And then you can go on with your work. It's divided into these 5 tabs down here. First one is your basic operations. So what tasks do I need to carry out? Easiest way to interact with operation is just swiping. So if you swipe, you'll be seeing the different actions you can take on an operation. Again, highly configurable. So depending on what you need your technicians to do, these quick actions will be configured to your need. So if you want to complete something, you just tap the complete part, and then that operation is completed, and you can continue with the rest of the operations. When you've completed an operation, you can go on to the next one. If you need to do more than just the simple operations, you can also tab the operation. That gives you a bit more insight on that specific one, and you can do all your time confirmations. You can register, for instance, the needed spare parts and components. So in this case, there's planned 3 of this mechanical seal. You've used 1, and you can go in and say, okay, I actually used 1 more, and add that directly here. Yeah, let me just close that. If you want like a full overview of all the components associated with this specific order, you tap the small component box here, and then you can see all the planned and any unplanned components. And it's really easy to add unplanned components if you need it. You just tap the action menu down here and tap the box here. And then you can either just add them from a list, or you can barcode scan materials to add them to the orders. And when you do that, you can either pick from the full inventory, or you can pick from the bill of material list and then choose whatever you need and add that directly to the work order here. This middle part is just any other relevant data from SAP that your technicians might need. Again, very configurable. So right now we're just showing all the different SAP dates, and there's a lot of them. But we can configure the screen so it fits what your technician needs in order to perform their work. The attachment part is any picture, document, technical manual, whatever that has been added to the work order, either from the work order itself, from the technical object, from the notification, or from any of the materials associated with the order. So any kind of documentation that revolves around this work order, you can kind of find here under this tab, and you can just tap it and get the information you need. And an easy way to find the right information around this work order and this equipment is actually to use the AI function. So if you tap the AI Ask Me Anything, you'll get a list of all your previous questions, and you can basically just chat with the manuals and information. So for instance, you could ask there, let me do the voice here. There seems to be a problem with the intake. What could be the issue? And we fire that away. And right now that functionality is online only. Most of the other stuff I've shown works completely offline, but this of course needs to go to our AI that will kind of have a look through all the different manuals, documentation, order history, everything that revolves around this, and it will come back with an answer. And you can see here it said that there might be these different challenges, and the recommendational checks for each of them is written here. And it also tells you the source of the information, so you can actually open the guide and look at that specific page and see if that's what you're looking for. So real easy to get the right information to the right people at the right time. And then the last one is our checklist and forms. It will show any predefined checklist or form that you need to fill out as a technician. Right now there is no forms on this one, but I can easily just add a form by tapping this one here. And I can, for instance, do a safety check form. It will take the form directly from our forms library. I'll be showing you a bit about how to set up and design these forms. It's pretty easy. It's like setting up a Word file or Excel. And then you'll fill out your different questions here. We can make conditional questions. So if, for instance, question answer is no, you get an extra comment box where you need to write something. The helmet didn't fit me. And you can then say, okay, there was no unrestricted access, yes, and then go to the next section. We can do pictures, we can do signatures, we can pretty much have any type of field here that you'll just design as an editor, and then these forms can be used on a mobile in the field. So I can either complete it here or I can save it. For now, I'll just discard it, but you can then just discard changes, add any type of form you want to the actual work order. And of course, we can define rules that certain checklists needs to be filled out before you can complete the work order. So going back to your list of operations, you could basically add time. Just put in 2 hours here, complete that, and you can do all your different registrations like time confirmation, measurement points, PRTs, tools, whatever you need. Go around and just complete everything on the specific operation here. Let me just go ahead and complete all of them. This one and also the last one. Let me just go ahead and say complete. Then. So now all work has been completed. The status has changed to work done, and you can now technically complete the order by clicking the check mark in the right hand corner. You can decide whether you want to close the underlying notification or not, and you can write whatever description you need. And again, if needed, you can add notification items. So if you maintain like course codes and actions, you can basically set the different information that helps you really capture how you solve stuff and what causes damages. So you can do the analysis of that at a later point of time. And then complete it. And now the work order has been T-code. And if I go back to my list here, it's now gone, and I can move on with the next orders that I have to do. So this was the main work order execution part. There's tons of configuration options and adaptability depending on your processes and your needs, but there was just a brief highlight. Besides the My Orders, you can of course go in and see notifications, so any notification that has been created by you can see. You can also just look at your operations. So if you don't really care about the order object, but you want to just look at assigned operations, you can do that, and all the operations designed directly to you is just shown in a simple list. And you can see the operational rounds that you have also been assigned. Besides that, we have map functionality. Again, all the items you see down here in the bottom is fully configurable. So if you don't really maintain GPS locations or all your asset is at one plant or one factory, we can just disable it. But if you do have assets that is distributed out in the real world, then you can see the different assets on the map. You can tap the asset and get more information both on existing orders and the details and route directions. You can also zoom and get any kind of view on the map. As a default, we use the built-in maps from Apple and Google, but we can also utilize GIS maps like Esri and others. So you have much richer maps that is with information that your technicians need. We also have an inventory part. The inventory part will show you all the different materials and the different storage locations. And by the materials, you can then tap that and look on the stock information, so you can actually see if the material that you need is available at the storage location that's relevant to you. On the different storage location, you can see different movements, so the different goods movement that has happened and materials. We have a range of inventory transactions, so we can do stock transfers, we can do goods received, inventory counts as well. All of this is role-based, so depending on how much of the warehouse inventory process and transaction you want your technicians to be able to carry out, we can configure that. We also have the technical object part. It's basically a browser of the full asset hierarchy in the plant. So you can take any section of the plant and you can drill down into any level and get the information I also showed on the work order to see, okay, what is this equipment about? What's the timeline, the history, all the details is available here. Of course, you can also barcode scan. So if you have labels, 3D barcodes, other types of labeling on your equipment, it's really easy to find the right one, or you can just search like a normal typewriter search. So just pick any new equipment and it will bring you directly to that, and you can look at the information. The last part of the app here is the settings. The settings kind of control what section of the data in SAP do I need to look at my device. So if you tap the user settings, you can basically select which plant do I want to get information from, and then filter it even further by either planner groups or plant sections. We can also set date limits so that you only get history of the last couple of years and not the last 10 years, depending on how much data you want available for the technicians on the device. This was the quick tour of our FastWork app. There's a lot of details, a lot of configurations. So if you have specific questions, get in touch and we'll be happy to go through them and tell you more about what we can do.